Hi, we're going to see now the time map of the international distribution of national average levels of the ecological footprint per capita. The ecological footprint adds up all the productive areas for which a population, a person, or a product competes. It measures the ecological assets that a given population or product requires to produce the natural resources it consumes, including plant-based food and fiber products, livestock, fish products, timber, and other forest products, space, including also space for urban infrastructure. It also includes the ecological assets that can absorb its waste, especially carbon emissions. The threshold of the ecological footprint above which we define unsustainable models in our methodology of defining healthy, replicable, and sustainable references, wherefrom we estimate the burden of health inequity, the price of human lives, of socioeconomic injustice, is the biocapacity per capita that we saw in the previous time map. The biocapacity per capita was in 1961 of 3 hectares per capita and is now of 1.6 hectares per capita. It's half the level. We have exhausted half the level of natural resources if we also take into account that the population has also more than doubled in these 6 decades. We see that in 1961 to 1965, the most unsustainable countries were those in North America, Canada and the US, the UK, Scandinavian countries, Belgium, Mongolia, Australia and New Zealand. The rest of Northern Europe was neither sustainable, and the rest of the world, the Arab Emirates neither. The rest of the world was in a situation of sustainable ecological footprint. It evolved slowly to include as highly unsustainable countries those in West and Northern Europe, and by 1973 it expanded to the Eastern European regions and Japan. In the 1980s, it continued to expand to Ukraine, and when we have data after 1990 from Russia, we see that the whole of the northern region from Alaska to Japan is unsustainable, and it goes south as the Mediterranean region. It also includes the the Balkans and some regions in the Middle East and South Korea, besides Australia and New Zealand. As we get closer to the end of the century, we see that it also includes the Arabian Peninsula and by the turn of the century, and the former Soviet Union republics in Central Asia. With as time evolves in the recent 2 decades, we see that Chile is also unsustainable, and Mexico and Ecuador. And gradually it also expands to other regions in the northern hemisphere where most really of the countries above the Mediterranean and above the USA are unsustainable in terms of ecological footprint. It includes the Arabian Peninsula, Oman and the Emirate United Arab Emirates and also Qatar and the regions. Iran is neither, and we see that from 2003 to 2008, China is no longer ecologically sustainable. By the last 5-year period, to 2016 to 2020, the only ecologically sustainable countries are a few countries in Central America and Ecuador. The rest are beyond, although by not so much, but are beyond the biocapacity, world's biocapacity per capita. Their ecological footprint is above that. Clearly, the southern region in South America is non-sustainable. The northern region remains highly unsustainable. You see, with an ecological footprint in the case of the US of 8.2, which is 5 times the world's capacity, 7.7 in Canada, 5.2 in Russia, Germany 8. It has gone down slightly in the Mediterranean countries, but still is non-sustainable. The only really sustainable region in the world is Sub-Saharan Africa, from the Sahel to Zimbabwe, Angola, Zambia, Mozambique, Madagascar, and the areas of Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, and some other countries in South Asia like Sri Lanka, our model country, Cambodia, and the Philippines. So this is how it looks today, with a world where most of the population lives in countries which socioeconomic models are not sustainable with nature. The highest in terms of ecological footprint are Qatar, followed by Luxembourg, by the Ukraine, Kuwait, Trinidad Tobago, the United States, United Kingdom, etc. Countries with either high oil production or high GDP and global consumption, where the countries with lowest are those in Zimbabwe, Timor-Leste, countries of the kind of Burundi, Afghanistan, etc., countries with very low GDP.